notice that we have a very special guest that has popped in. And I know this is a very busy season for him, very busy season for him. And so we don't want to spend too much time jibber jabbering while he's there. Santa, are you there?
Oh, I am.
Oh, nice to see you, Santa.
And to see you guys. Do you know
How
what?
are you this fine day?
I,
Actually, it's night for you, isn't it?
it is nighttime here, but I've just been checking. I don't know if you can read it, but I've been checking my nice list, and you're all still on it. I'm
Yay!
so pleased.
That's nice to know. I've
I
been trying to
suppose
be so good.
I'm glad because you are doing such a good job there. No wonder everyone's on the nice list.
Ah, nice. So I understand you might have some stories or something to share with us, or do you have a message to share with us today? What would you like for us to know, Santa?
Obviously, the message I would have is keep being good, be kind to one another, and be kind to yourselves. Because this has been a dreadful year for people. I mean, it's particularly for children who just don't know what's happening to them this year.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
think, yeah, that would be the message, I guess, if it's a message, which is be good, be kind to yourself.
Well, no one has more credibility to give that advice than you, Santa.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you give so much to other people? How does that make you feel?
Well, it's a wonderful thing to be doing because the more you give, the more you have. Do you know what I mean? Does that sound daft? I don't know, but that's
No, not at all. It's true. I've learned that when I sacrifice a little bit of my time or my talents or something that I have, a possession, and I sacrifice a little bit of that to give to somebody else, it makes me feel better. In
Mm,
fact, some of the most challenging times of my life, when I start to feel really down on myself, the only way to really get out of that funk is to do something for somebody else. So here you are, and that's something that you do all year long. And you're always thinking about other people, especially making children happy.
absolutely.
And that is so wonderful. And you're so beloved by many people.
Yes.
What is it that Santa needs, though? Is there something we can do for Santa?
Um, I don't think so. I think what I've said already is all that I need people to do. You know, be kind. Um, I have everything I need in life.
Oh, that's awesome. So who's on the naughty list this year, Santa? Can you divulge that?
There is no naughty list.
There isn't? Wow. Is there another list besides the nice list? Arnie's excited there's not a naughty list.
No, there's only the nice list. But unfortunately, some people don't get on the list.
Oh, I see how it works. Okay.
No, the song about me, he's making a list, checking it twice. He's not making two lists.
Ah, so the song is right. It was kind of cryptic, but now I get it.
Yeah, it's just one list. And pretty much all children are by default on the nice list. It's difficult for a child to get off the nice list,
Mhm.
but adults, not so much.
Yeah. Well, Santa, you might struggle with some of the things that we struggle with at the Speak Feed Lead project, in that we want to be able to reach some of the unreachable kids,
Hmm.
the kids that are in juvenile justice centers,
Yes.
the kids who are in homeless shelters,
Yeah.
the kids who are being abused in homes or are in foster care because of abuse,
Yeah.
kids who've been trafficked and are hard to find physically, but also are having a struggle finding who they are after such traumatic experiences. We're
Absolutely.
trying to reach those kids, and we're trying to be able to find ways to help them feel empowered and loved and valued and worth. Um, and so that's what the Speak Feed Lead project is doing. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're here today because we
Well,
want people to know how important it is for these kids to receive the help that we're asking for. And we're asking people to donate today. We're trying to raise $10,000 so that we can support 100 at-risk kids. So
mhm,
having you here with us today is so special. And I know for you, you want to get to those kids too. You want to provide for them gifts on Christmas morning, and they're hard to find, aren't they?
they can be, yeah. Even with magic flying reindeer, it can sometimes be hard to find the children. And if they're in a
Yeah.
correctional facility, sometimes it's hard to even get anything to them,
Hmm.
and in a way to get through to them. But they're
So
not.
what would you say to them if you could say something to them? What would you tell them, Santa?
I would say what I say to everyone else: be kind to everyone, and be especially kind to yourself, particularly if you're in those awful circumstances that you're talking about. And I guess that, you know, every child is is good, is worthwhile. Just some circumstances are far worse than others.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that we're all children have value and they deserve to be heard, but for some reason, so many of them are shut down. They're not allowed to speak out, or they're just in situations where that's never been offered to them. And what we have found is that when children can receive the ability to speak out, it truly empowers them. It does make them feel worthy. It makes them feel valuable. And when they know they've got something that someone's willing to listen to, and they can say that out loud, it makes a difference for the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was your childhood like, Santa?
Oh, it was very different in those days. Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. It was very different. But they were simpler times. And I guess, we were happy, same as most children are happy. And we were happy.
Yeah.
It was cold. I mean, I think the world is definitely warmer than it was when I was a
Yeah. Well, now you have a nice warm coat and hat to wear.
Yes, it's old habits. You've got all the warm stuff, and really and truly these days, I don't altogether need it.
Yeah.
But I thought as I was talking to everyone, I would get a bit dressed properly. I didn't bother with gloves because it is warm.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
And
So,
I've been told by the elves, keep your hat on, or we're going to have to put talcum powder all over your head. Steve, with the shine.
yeah. Well, we have Deborah coming on. Hopefully she's on the nice list too. She probably is, as much as I know about her.
Yeah.
Hi, Deborah.
Hello, Deborah.
Well, so
Well,
Santa, did you have some stories you wanted to share with us today, in case there are some kids watching?
um, yes, I could tell a children's story or two. Is,
That'd be
is,
awesome.
is there time? I don't want to
Sure.
keep
I've
my
got
life.
as much time as you have.
Excellent. Wow. I why don't I start with a story that is all about kindness? Um, it's a story about a young boy called Atul. Atul, he'd always wanted a dog. And every year at his birthday and at Christmas, he'd say to his mum, Mum, can I have a dog? And she would say, maybe next year. And then one year, coming up to Christmas, he said, Mum, can I have a dog? And she said, yes, I'll have a word with Santa and sort you out a dog. And the idea was I was going to bring him his dog on Christmas Day. And she'd got a dog ready and everything. But do you know what? There was a great flood on Christmas Eve in the valley where he lived, and lots of stuff was washed away. And one of the things washed away was Atul's dog before he even got it. And on Christmas Day, I had to go and I had a quick word with Atul's mother and said, look, his dog is gone. His dog is lost. And I had a search round, and I'll show you what I found. Just talk amongst yourselves. in my sack, at the bottom of my sack, I found an old beaten up drumstick. And so I said to his mum, it's not much, but that's all I've got available at the moment, but I will do my best to get Atol's dog to him. And so apparently his mum had to say to him, look, Atol, you will get a dog, but at the moment, all Santa has left you is a drumstick. Well, you can imagine Atol was quite upset and disappointed. But then he cheered up and he got an old lace and he tied it around the head of the drumstick. And he walked along as though he was walking a dog, and he taught it tricks. He taught it stay. He taught it fall over. He taught it play dead. He taught it fetch. That was the hardest. And his mum was actually getting quite upset. Said, look, Atol, can you go outside? Yeah, I'll get dinner ready. So he said, yes, I'll take my stick for a walk. So out he went with his stick on the end of the string. And he was walking along, and suddenly there was a black smoke in the air and a smell of burning, and the sound of someone coughing and coughing. And he crossed over the bridge because they lived by a little stream. And the other side of the bridge, there was the village baker, and she was coughing away and upset. And he said, what's wrong? He was a very kind boy. He said, what's wrong? And she said, it's the flood. I left my kindling here last night. It's all sopping wet and I can't get my oven to light, so I can't make the bread. And Atol was a kind boy, like I say, and he said, I've got a nice, dry, varnished drumstick. If you chop that up, you'll be able to use it as kindling and get your oven going. And so he gave his stick to the baker, and she chopped up the stick and she put it in the oven. And before you knew it, the oven was burning nicely. The other wood was warming up, and she was able to make the first batch of bread. And she gave one to Atol. She said, you're such a good boy, Atol. You have this. And she gave him a roti, which is a little flat bread that you fold over, and it had all lovely butter in it. She said, don't eat it yet because it'll be too hot. And he said, well, thank you. And as he walked away, he was saying, oh, what a strange and wonderful Christmas. I wanted a dog, but I got a stick that turned into a roti. And he kept on walking, and then he heard some crying, a baby crying. It was wah, wah, wah. And he came around the corner, and there was the village potter, and he had the baby with him, and this baby wouldn't stop crying. And Atol said, oh dear, what's wrong with the baby? And the village potter said, he's just hungry. I would have given him some bread, but the baker's oven isn't working because of the flood. The wood all got wet. And Atol said, oh, it's working now, but look, here, I have this roti. You take it, and the baby can have some, and he'll stop crying because he won't be hungry. And before you knew it, all was quiet. The baby was fast asleep. See, I told you Atol was a kind boy. And the village baker said, oh, Atol, sorry. The village potter said, oh, Atol, thank you. That's so kind of you. Here, take this great big wash tub. You can have it. And Atol said, oh, thank you. And he took the wash tub, and he was thinking, oh, this is funny. And he said to himself, what a strange and wonderful Christmas. I wanted a dog, but I got a stick that turned into a roti, that turned into a big wash tub. And he carried on walking, and then he heard a man cursing and swearing. Oh, what's this? And there by the side of the river, the other side of the river, because he'd gone over the other bridge, was the village laundryman. And he was really, really upset. And Atol said, what's wrong? He said, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I left my big wash pot by the river last night, and the floods caught it and smashed it on the rocks, and I can't do the laundry. And Atol, very kind boy, I bet you can guess what he said. I've got this great big wash pot. You can have it and you'll be able to do the laundry. And he gave the wash pot to the laundryman. And the laundryman was very grateful. He said, oh, thank you, Atul. That's so kind of you. And he said, I tell you what, I've got this old coat. It's a lovely, thick, warm coat. It's got a nice fur collar. He said, but no one's come back for it. You can have it. And Atul said, oh, thank you. And he put on the coat, and it was miles too big for him. But he took the bit of string that he'd had when he was walking the stick that he thought was a dog, and tied the coat up. And he walked on, and he walked up the river back towards home. Suddenly he heard us, shoot! And he came around the corner, and there was an old man with a white beard in a set of long johns. He had on like a white vest and I won't show you, but white long johns underneath. And he was shivering and shivering. And on the bushes nearby, there was a red jacket with some white fur on it, and some red trousers with some red braces, and some boots with white fur on top. And Atul said, what's wrong? And this man said, oh, there was this dog. And he held up a bit of rope with a dog on the end of it. This dog, it was in the flood, and it was caught on a tree, and I jumped in to save it. And my clothes are all wet, and I'm so cold. And Atul, kind boy, said, I've got this coat. You can have it. If you wrap it around, it'll warm you up. And the old man said, oh, thank you, Atul. How do you know his name? And he took the coat and he put it on, and he took his big black belt with the brass buckle and put that round the coat. He was lovely and warm and said, now, Atul, will you look after this dog for me? Because I've got lots of things to do today, and I can't look after a dog. And Atul said, oh, yes, I'd love to. And the old man said, would you look after him? Yeah, and you're a good boy. And Atul walked away with the dog. And he said to himself, what a strange and wonderful Christmas. I wanted a dog, and I got the stick that turned into a roti, that turned into a big wash pot, that turned into a coat, that turned into a dog of my very own. I wanted a dog, and I've got a dog. And he went home and he said to his mum, look, I've got a dog, and I'm going to teach it some tricks. And that's the end of my story. And it just shows kindness pays.
Yay. Nice story, Santa. You are a wonderful storyteller. I think this is probably the first time I realized that Santa is an excellent storyteller.
It goes with being Santa, really. You have to tell stories to people. Sometimes it's only a good story that keeps a child from straying off the nice list.
Ah, I see. There you go. Nice. Well, that is why stories are so important, is because they connect people with each other, right?
And that's where you're working with people their voice back.
Absolutely.
Help them to share their story. Yeah.
Yep. And Steve does the same thing. Story is very important.
Yeah. I was saying, do you want another story, or was that enough, do you think?
I would love another story if you have time. Deborah, how much time do you have? Would you like to take a second, or do you want to hear another story from Santa?
Another story is great.
Okay.
Thank you, Deborah. This isn't, I don't think this is quite such a good moral to it, this story, but it's quite fun. And you're welcome to join in with the chorus in this one, but don't unmute yourselves, otherwise we'll be, oh. You may think you know the story, but it's a slightly different version. It's the story of the little gingerbread man. Now, it was Boxing Day, and Granny was baking cakes and cookies and gingerbread men because the children were all coming for tea. And she put the gingerbread men on the cooling rack, and then she decorated them. And she put the cakes over here, and she decorated them. She made lovely muffins. But then suddenly she heard a little noise. She looked back, and one of the gingerbread men jumped off the rack onto the ground, and he ran out of the kitchen. Granny ran after him, shouting, "Stop! Stop!" And little gingerbread man kept running away, and he shouted back, "Run, run as fast as you can. You won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." He was right. She couldn't catch him. And he kept running, and he ran along the road, and he ran past a cow. And the cow went, "Mm, which causes cow for stop, stop." He didn't stop. He kept running, and he called out, "Run." No one's joining in. "Run, run as fast as you can. You won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." Well, he was right. The cow couldn't catch him. He kept running, and he ran past a dog. And the dog said, "Ruff, ruff," which is dog for stop, stop. And the gingerbread man called out, "Run, run as fast as you can. You won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And he was right. The dog couldn't catch him. And then he ran past a horse, and you know how quickly horses run. And the horse said, "Nee," which of course is horse for stop, stop. And the gingerbread man called out, "Run, run as fast as you can. You won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And he was right. The horse couldn't catch him. And then he ran along the road and into the edge of the woods, and there was a fox. And the fox said, "Hello, young gingerbread man. Would you like to come back to my place for tea?" And the gingerbread man ran past him, and he shouted, "Run, run as fast as you can. You won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And the fox said, "I won't run, old chap," and just followed him calmly. And the gingerbread man ran through the bit of woods, and suddenly he arrived at the edge of the river. The path went to the river, stopped at the bank. There was nowhere for him to go. And the fox came strolling out of the woods and said, "Oh, nowhere to go, old fellow. That's a little unfortunate, isn't it? Come back for tea." Just then, whoosh, I landed in my sleigh, and I said, "Oh, you jump on board here, little gingerbread man. Come back to the North Pole with me. I'm not going to let no fox eat thee." And the little gingerbread man looked at me, and he looked at the fox, and he jumped into the sleigh, and we flew back to the North Pole. And when we got there, I said, "Sit with the sleigh and I'll go and get some stuff ready." And the elves came out, and they saw the gingerbread man. What do you think they did? I'll tell you. They loved him. They said, "Come in with us." And they took him to the elf workshops, and they got him to stand and pose for them. And they took his picture down, and they made Gingerbread Man badges. And you can still find those Gingerbread Man badges. There's lots on eBay as one place you can get them. And in my book about Santa and the Gingerbread Man. But they loved him so much that they made these badges. And do you know what else happened? Grandma decided she would never again make a gingerbread man. She would only make gingerbread Christmas trees. As she said, they don't run away. That's another story finished.
Nice. Thank you, Santa.
Oh, no.
What a delightful gift you've given us today to be here with us and to share
I've loved it.
stories.
Am I all right to stay on for a little while listening, and I'll turn off my...
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So you can stay with us as long as you'd like, and you can contribute
like
to
to
neat
listen to
conversation.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'll say bye then. Bye, guys.
Okay.
Keep being